Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with a delayed stream. Old Smokey decided to go live tonight instead of last night. Saturday night is his usual time to go live, but because yesterday was 9/11, he decided to put off for a day, and he took my usual time slot, although he got in a little late himself. But anyway, so I'm just now coming on, and this is what I promised to do last week. But because I didn't get back from the White Eagle powwow until very late, I decided to put it off for today. And so what I have is just a collection of items. The main entree is one that came from SunshineSideOfLife77. So I just put everything in just some random bag that I had. So one of the mains that she sent me was this halal chicken Mediterranian. See, it has the Arabic. This packaging, this J&M, is very similar to the My Own Meals packaging. I see Wyoming and Pete in the house. Smokey said he will drop in as soon as he finishes cleaning up. So the My Own Meals are the blue box version of this, and most of those are kosher. Some of those are marked as kosher and halal, but this one is just marked halal. So this box just has the retort of the main, and then the other things that I've selected just out of stuff that I had. For dessert, I picked a caffeinated chocolate pudding. I have two of these, so I decided I'll just go ahead and have one. And then to go along with the Mediterranean theme, I have Italian breadsticks. And then I have a packet of instant white rice. This is obviously too small to heat this in, so I will do it. I have a bowl back here, and then I'll just put this plate over it after I pour the water in. But I'm going to doctor that rice up. With these two seasoning packets, when we were doing, I actually saved these from when we were doing salads at my mosque, but we are not using the seasoning packets, just the dressings. So I actually collected these and saved these, so I have quite a few. I don't know what these are, but I'm just going to throw these in the rice so that the rice has some flavor, and then that will be a bed for the pasta. Or the chicken and vegetables. And then I pulled out these two little clear drink mixes. One of them has a bit of a, this one still sounds good, but this one is a bit caked. So that's the problem with these little drink packets. These are not impervious to moisture. So one of those will go into the drinking jar. I see James is in the house. There is Carla and Puppy Breath. And for coffee, I'm just going to use this bag for trash. Coffee, I'm going to have some G7. There's Aletha in the house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open up this box. See, Mike is here, Pat is here, Adam is here, Yossi is here, all the way from Israel. So this is what the retorts look like in these boxes. So it's an 8-ounce portion, but you can see that it's wider than the standard retorts that we're used to for American rations. But this is not a gusseted pouch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. I've actually had my water on the stove for quite some time. I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pot, and I'm actually going to set this Italian breadsticks on the lid to warm them. I'm just getting a pair of scissors out to open the coffee because I just feel like cheating. I'm actually using 2 because these only are supposed to call for 4 ounces of water. So yeah, it's late for coffee, but I don't care. This is the grape flavored. It had a little bit of caking in it. So what I do is I just rip up and just pull it out. Of course, this is also the same condition that a lot of the Russian drink mixes come in. Even fresh out of the plant, they're like this because that's just how they do it. And the Norwegian Arctic Field Ration drink mixes are the same. They come out a little bit clumpy like that. Then this one is the orange. It does not shake at all. So it got even more moisture added to it. And I have had these in a plastic bag. So I put that one to the side. I don't worry about these mixing. There is a Shadow Scout Swede. Checking in. So thanks for dropping by. Yep, good morning over there for him and Yossi. But anyway, I'm going to go take these to the kitchen, and then I will bring back the water for the coffee and the rice. Actually, before I do that, I should go ahead and put the rice. Oop, there goes some of the drink mix. I better save that. A little chunk of this. Actually, I want to open up the rice first. Well, that one didn't rip very well. This is the Big Daddy Unlimited, but this is Minotaur Trading Company packaging. And just opening up the gusset on the bottom. There, I got all that seasoning in the rice. Now I'll shake that to get that down. So I will be right back. I'm sealing up the rice. Guess I can't shake it in here. I'm going to stir the coffee. I'll be right back. There we go, I got the coffee all mixed up. Now I'm gonna mix this up. See, these drink mixes will not have hardly any color to them, but that one, that grape did have just a tiny bit. Didn't look purple though, but They're fine for not having any artificial colors, but the packaging on those is bad. And there's actually not much of a great flavor, even though I use less water than what it would normally call for. So while waiting for that to heat up, in case you're curious, I don't know if you can read that, but this is just the nutrition stuff on here. Wow, Carla, that was just 3 years after me. I graduated in '84. And then this right one is the nutritional info in Arabic. See, these would have been used in the Middle East. And these could have been given to Jews as well as Muslims. Now down here is the ingredients. And then right here is the ingredients in Arabic. So, and this one, so September of 21, so this is hitting the best buy date. So when I reviewed that case of the mom's meals that CT sent me, he actually had the separate accessory packs, which, see, when these are handed out, you get this and then you get the accessory pack as a separate item, and all of those came with the exact same items. There was no difference in flavor except maybe the candy. They might change up the candy. It probably just had a bulk bag of mixed candy and then just grab two, chuck it in, go next bag, grab two random ones, chuck it in, you know. That's pretty much, I'm guessing that's how that worked. But these were made here in the U.S. So I'm just going to get that box out of the way. I'm just collecting the trash off to the side. And then I have here the caffeinated pudding, which comes out of a First Strike ration. And this is the same type of pouch that the Zapple sauce comes out of, and it's designed where you just rip this top off. Like that, and then you just suck it right out of the pouch. But I'm going to go ahead and squirt it into here. There we go. It's hard coming out at first, but the old toothpaste roll method seems to get the rest of it out. And I'll call that good. Let's see, sorry about the shaking. It's just that this phone mount is not exactly the most stable thing in the world. So I'm going to open up this orange drink packet to show you what this looks like when moisture has gotten to it. Actually, I'll just do it over the glass. That way, if it falls in, it'll fall in. Angry Blacksmith in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is what happens when this stuff gets moisture. I will get rid of that. I'm sure the company that made those has probably gotten enough complaints about it that I hope they stop doing that, because that is just ridiculous. Especially if you're going to put those in a ration. This is, have to let this sit for 8 minutes, and it is already filling up. I can still shake it. My main should be done. And I have the Italian breadsticks in there as well, so I'm going to take a drink of the coffee. I love that G7. That's my go-to camp coffee. In fact, at the powwow, Saturday morning and Sunday morning, I camped at the location since it was way too far for me to just take a city bus. I would bust out my pocket stove, fire it up, make me a G7 coffee. And by the time I had that done, the other pot was just getting started for the rest of the crew. And I offered that if anyone needed a small amount of hot water heated up for some other purpose, because they didn't have a working portable heater for hot water for doing dishes. They did dishes in cold water. I offered to use, let them use my little camp stove where I would do it for them, but no one took me up on that. There is Food Forest Permaculture in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I'm going to go get my entree and the Italian breadsticks, and I'll be right back. I'm going to slide this over. And back with the chicken Mediterranian and the breadsticks. I just have a paper towel to dry off the pouch. Just makes it easier to handle. And I had the breadsticks warming. I ended up moving the breadsticks pouch to the burner that the kettle was on because it was falling off the lid handle. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the breadsticks. Oh, that didn't rip very good. Sometimes these things don't rip very well, but these are easy to fix. A supply an oxygen absorber, so there's 2 of them out. And they actually came apart, or at least 2 of them split off. So this is what they look like from the edge. So you can see they have the herbs and seasonings. This is the bottom side, this is the top side. Got the holes in it. I'll just break these 2 apart. Now what I'm going to do, going to open up the rice. Let's see, I'll check the chat. Zero having a good chat. I want to make sure I get it all out of here. All that good. And make sure all that seasoning got everywhere. So this is how the rice came out. I'm actually going to put a little bit over here off to the side. I'm just going to go ahead and take a taste of this. Yep, those seasonings definitely added to the flavor, because otherwise that would have just been plain rice. I don't see it. I'm not finding a tear notch on here, so I'm just going to cut this since I got my cheaters here. It's like I got most of this out, so I'll call that good. There's big chunks of chicken. Here's a tomato. There's potatoes and beans. I'm going to go after this piece of chicken right here. Oh, whoops, that was a potato. Potatoes are soft. The chicken is actually just a hair on the dry side. There's a big see, there's also chickpeas. Gonna check those out. The chickpeas are the way I like them. They got some bite to them. They're a little bit firmer than the potatoes. The tomato's obviously quite soft, but you can still taste the flavor. So this is really good. Now I'm going to combine it with the rice. Yeah, this is probably the way a lot of people would eat a dish like this, is over rice. You get to flavor the rice with the sauce. I apologize for any weird noises that may be coming around. I have a second cat. Her name is Pumpkin, and I've posted a short video of her. She was brought here by a friend who had to move, and because of a problem in his former apartment, it got so bad that there was just no way he and his family could stay living there. So where they moved to, they could only have one cat. So he brought me Pumpkin. And Mila is not happy about it. She has to get used to sharing. Mila will be 18 next month. And since Pumpkin is still a young cat, she's still got that kitten in her. So she'd want to play, and Mila's really not about that. Just checking the chat. Yeah, pH is very important, for maintaining your health. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I know that if you don't have enough of the right acids in your body, or you have too much acids, then everything can go out of whack. Yeah, you have to have some acids in your body in order to promote digestion. But if you have too much, which is what I deal with, I have that acid reflux. So I take medicine for that. And I don't eat as much acidic food. Yeah, so like he said, if you don't have enough of the right acids in your body, you can't process the food that you eat. I'm going to take a bite of one of these breadsticks. I did not pull anything out to put on these breadsticks. But these do taste better when they're warmed, even just a little bit. You can taste herbs and spices in here. So this is a whole lot better than just the plain snack breads. I don't have a whole lot of sauce to dip this in, but I can dip. But thanks for dropping in. Let's see, I think Food Forest Permaculture, also known as Howie, he's gonna take off. So thanks for dropping in. Just had a drink of the coffee. I'm taking up some of the caffeinated pudding. It tastes kind of like a dark chocolate, but you can definitely tell there's I taste a tiny bit of coffee flavor, which is where they probably get the caffeine from. And chocolate naturally has a little bit of caffeine in it. And so what they do with this is they just put extra caffeine in it. The rice rehydrated perfectly for the amount of water that I put in. There was hardly any water just flowing out when I dumped it out onto the tray. Those little seasoning packets that I used, I keep those in bags, and so I can take them when I go camping in case I want to just add some flavor to something. Say if I'm taking instant rice or noodles or something like that, or I can throw it on some meat before I cook it on the fire. Well, since Rachel, SunshineSideOfLife77, calls her boxes megabytes, kind of after Dub C likes to do megabytes, he loads up a lot of the stuff on a spoon, So like putting it on a cracker, biscuit, or piece of bread. If these breadsticks were just a little bit wider, that would work even better than it did, but it did work. I haven't had these Italian breadsticks for quite some time, so I decided to go ahead and pull one out since this is Mediterranean. Yeah, the taste. The chicken has the seasonings that you would find in Mediterranean food, but a lot of it's just the base ingredients like the potato, the chickpeas, the tomatoes, and the other beans. Plus the chicken. And that's kind of what makes it Mediterranean. But the flavor itself is really good. So it was my first time having one of these J&M halal entrees, so kudos to Rachel for sending it to me. She sent me another halal main, but I have a hard time translating that one because that one is in the Thai language. So I'm not sure what that one is. I guess I'll be surprised when I open it up. But this is definitely good. You know, with this on top of the rice, I'm really enjoying this. I might have had a little bit of Moroccan from some people who have brought food to the mosque during Ramadan or prepared it there when we had our nightly iftar dinners. But for the second year in a row, we did not do that for Ramadan. In fact, I hardly went to the mosque at all. I went there to check on things since I'm a key holder. I volunteer to do stuff like that. And if someone brings something that needs to be put away, then I put it away since I have a key to the storage. But mostly I will eat stuff like honey, and different curry dishes. There is James in the house. Thanks for dropping in. I will have some maybe some Iraqi style food, Pakistani or Afghani or Indian style. It just depends on the night what people are doing. Sometimes there'll be Bosnian and sometimes African style. One year I made a vegetarian dirty rice because there are a number of vegetarians who are coming for dinner, and we needed more rice done anyway, so I made a big pot of vegetarian dirty rice using beans, chili beans and black beans, plus other seasonings. And so that was a hit with the vegetarians who do not eat any meat for, they do it for health reasons. But for those that just came in late, this is Mediterranian chicken, the J&M halal entree that Sunshine Side of Life sent me, and I put it over some instant rice that I threw some seasonings in. So this is what the rice looks like with just the seasonings. I held some off to the side. Just a couple of different seasoning packets. I don't know what's in them, but they look good, so I threw them in. And they worked. I think they go well with this. See, there's a piece of chicken, there's tomato, there's beans, there's chickpeas, and potatoes. This is the caffeinated pudding from a First Strike Ration. And Italian breadsticks, because why not? And I pulled out the 2 clear drink mixes that I had. The orange was really caked up. Moisture gotten into it. You can see the little bits that did not dissolve. The grape, which I originally put in, had gotten a little bit of moisture. But it's fine, I'll drink it. If they would have put those powders in something that is more like this style of a pouch that's a little thicker, that's triple layered, then they wouldn't get the moisture in them like those did. Pumpkin is exploring around the room. Maybe I can get her to come over. Pumpkin! Pumpkin! Come here, Pumpkin. Come here, pretty girl. Pumpkin! There's that pretty pumpkin. Pumpkin! Show the rear that cutie face. She's rubbing on my phone cord. Pumpkin, come here. There, that's a girl. Pumpkin. No, you can't have the cord. What's the matter, Pumpkin? I'll give you some lovin's later. Give you some lovin's later. Put you back up in the mount. See, that was Pumpkin. Yeah, the guy who brought her to me calls her a calico, but I call her a tortie. Because she just has very little light color for a calico, so I just call her a tortie. Yep, that's, yep, Pumpkin is her name. She is a tiny bit bigger than Mila. A little bit longer body. She's got longer legs and longer tail. And her whiskers are a lot longer than Mila's. I don't know what breed pumpkin is. Heck, I don't know what breed meal is. Yeah, I'm rubbing this piece in the sauce just for the heck of it. But I think eventually Mila will come around and interact properly with Pumpkin. Now, speaking of deer, here in Iowa we have white tail. Other places might have black tail. And then there's a mule deer. Mule deer is what Tack from AOK Foraging and Adventures got when she was hunting in Utah. So she actually got one, and then she was able to get it processed up there and then bring the meat home. And I'm guessing it has a slightly different flavor than the deer that we have here in Iowa. I have never had the backstrap of a deer, so I don't know what that tastes like, but I have been gifted deer steaks and ground deer meat. So that's pretty awesome when I get that, since obviously I don't hunt because I would have a hard time locating and aiming. Plus, I don't drive, so I can't go by myself to a place where it's legal to hunt. I'm just doing it again, just because I can. That's okay. I'll be here. Yep, you have to be stealthy when you hunt. Even in places where you're wearing the orange, because in a lot of places during certain hunting seasons you have to wear the orange something so that you don't get popped by another hunter. But my dad loved to go hunting. He would go after turkeys, pheasants, deer. I don't think he I never knew him to go duck hunting. Of course, he also fished a lot, so because he was good at it, that was one of the ways that he would supply meat for us, is hunting and fishing. And then if he got a deer, it would be processed right up there, and then he would bring home the meat, and of course my dad would do the turkeys himself. And he taught us all how to fish. My brother hunts. He's down in Arkansas. But my sisters do not hunt. I don't know if it's because they just don't have the time. Of course, one is a teacher, but she's been working summer school. And one works in a daycare center. Then my other sister works for the government. Mila. Mila kitty. See, there's Mila. What you looking for, Mila? There's nothing down there for the kitty, Mila. So you can see, after looking at Pumpkin, you can see that Mila is a little bit smaller. Mila! I guess she's gonna walk away. There we go. Get your position right. There we go. That's a little better. Now, duck fat. That's one of those things that when you go to the high dollar restaurants, they will cook a lot of stuff in duck fat. And that will be a good fat to cook very lean meats in. If you don't have pork fat or you don't use it. So I would use duck fat to cook another meat in, or I would use lamb fat. all I have left is the pudding, and of course my coffee and my clear drink. Now you can buy a ready-made fish stock. Actually, you have a carton of that. And with, I have a carton of the vegetarian stock or broth. I have a carton of chicken stock. I have a carton of beef stock, a carton of turkey stock, and of course the fish stock. Or seafood as it's properly labeled. So I have all of those, that way I can make the kind of, I can use one of those to enhance the flavor, or if I don't have meat, I can put that in there and I kind of get that meat flavor. I have actually never had trout. At least not to my knowledge. I don't have a way to get to areas where I could fish for it. And here in Iowa, I would have to have a trout stamp on my fishing license, which I don't. I just buy the general fishing license. I don't know where in Iowa one would go for trout, but since the trout stamp is offered, there are some places I just don't know where they are, and someone would have to take me there. Thanks for dropping in, Puppy Breath. Hope you can come back next time, and hopefully I will be back at my normal time of 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do next week. I might do the other main that Rachel sent me that I have to heat up in a pan, because the Norwegian main that she originally sent me, I took that to camp in June, and I had that for my Friday night meal. But I have another Norwegian main that was sent to me by another YouTuber, so. But that's one that I've had before. It's the cod curry. That one is really good. I had that one in the full Norwegian ration. So I have reviewed that before. But I would gladly eat that one again. So I might come up with another meal next week with the other main that Rachel sent me. I have another one of those small bags of instant rice that I could use. But I haven't decided if I'm going to do that yet. I may skip that, and I might have some crackers. Or I might get one. I have several wheat snack breads. I could just use one of those. Uh, that might be a problem here in Iowa. Now, up in Minnesota, because of the larger number of lakes and rivers up there, especially in the Boundary Waters area up along the Minnesota-Canadian border, you might find that. But here in Iowa, you don't get that. Now, ocean fishing, yeah, people do that all the time. They get charters with guides who will tell them what baits and lures to use and what kind of weights to put on their line, you know, what size hook for the type of fish they're going for. You know, they help them bring the fish in, especially if they're really huge. But you don't get that here in Iowa. And right now, our rivers and lakes are very low. Yeah, I am seeing, when I go over the Des Moines River in a bus, I look out the window and I can see stuff showing out of the water that I should not see normally. Now that ocean fishing would be a very interesting bucket list item. I guess that'll do it for the pudding. Yeah, that's when I was in Mexico back in '86. We did not do anything like that. We did not go fishing. One day we were supposed to go visit the water gardens at Xochimilco, but the boats were not in the water that day that we were going to go do that, so we went and did another group activity. But that would have been something to see there if we would have had the time and gone out on the right day. But we were down there the summer after the '85 earthquake, so we saw some of the damage in Mexico City when we went there for a weekend. So when we went into the presidential palace, we could not go in all of the public areas because they were too unstable and were being repaired. And Basilica de Guadalupe, or the Basilica of Guadalupe, they closed the original one that was built a few hundred years ago. And because of the earthquakes, and Mexico City is sitting on a former lake bed, so the ground is very soft, and buildings have been known to sink. And the original Basilica de Guadalupe did sink so much that they had to build steps down to it, but it had been closed for worship for quite some time. So then they built a new modern style church for people to go into. So it's a completely different style. And that is right on the Zocalo Square, which is across from the Presidential Palace. And we stayed in a hotel that is right there on the Zocalo. Yeah, it is huge. Now we went to the Palacio de Bellas Artes and took in what's called a Ballet Folklorico, where dance groups perform dances of the various indigenous tribes and dances that were popular over the years since Mexico was colonized. And the glass curtain, as they call it, was made by Tiffany. The same Tiffany that makes high-end glassware here in the U.S. So Tiffany was commissioned to make that glass curtain for the Palacio de Bellas Artes. So if you don't go there and you don't look up all that kind of stuff, no one would have known. But it was really awesome to see. Prep for it is in the house, and you're looking at an empty tray because I done ate all the food. I'll just tell you what I had. I had a halal Mediterranean chicken with vegetables, and I put that over some instant rice that I had thrown in some seasoning packets into. That Mediterranean chicken was sent to me by SunshineSideOfLife77, who sent me a whole bunch of other stuff. And I paired it with some Italian breadsticks. And I had got out a caffeinated chocolate pudding. And this was one of those clear drink mixes that tend to cake up because those packets, they're no better than a sugar packet when it comes to keeping moisture out. And then, of course, I have to have some 3-in-1 coffee, the G7 coffee. De Carlos Perry's in the house. I hope you're doing okay. For those that may not have known or not subscribed to him, De Carlos had to have some surgery and some physical therapy. And so he's still working on getting better from that. But it's good to see you in here. Yeah, I had posted that I would be following Smokey tonight because he delayed his stream a day and took my usual slot. So I posted that in the community tab. I actually did that during the Ration Museum stream that I posted that. Yeah, it's good to see you back in action and keeping on the road to recovery. So hopefully you'll just keep getting better and better and you can get back to your normal self. Oh, that's good that you're getting all this done and taken care of. Yeah, you make the hospital staff earn their pay. So I hope you do get sprung on Tuesday so you can get back to being in your own home and hanging out with that excessively adorable little sprout. I bet he misses his daddy. Yeah, I hope that surgery went well for you, Wyoming, so you can get back on your feet and doing what you do. Eventually, I will have to have knee replacement surgery, but I'm trying to hold that off as long as I can. But I still go out on trips whenever I get a driver. I had a driver take me out to the park where the powwow was at, Jester Park, and I had camped there in June with Tack from LK Foraging and Adventures and Robin of Redbird 491. And we went down to the river and fished during that weekend. I actually caught 2 fish then, a small one, small cat, channel cat, and then a keeper-sized cat. But Tack's wife, Brenda, Tack is gay for those who do not know. But her wife, Brenda, came out and joined us for fishing. She couldn't camp yet because she had just had back surgery herself, and then she's had both knees replaced, so she's had her second one done. And she's already feeling a whole lot better after having those surgeries. But she will be back to camping probably in maybe in a few weeks or a couple months or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, she came out and joined us for fishing. And then when we got done fishing on Saturday, she went back home, took all the fish, prepped them, and put them in the freezer. So I didn't mind that, I didn't bring my fish home, but that's okay. But Lake Icaria, I got skunked. The fishing was not too good for us. I think it was because the water was low. Let me check the chat again. Wow, so yep, catfish is actually my favorite fish to eat, and it doesn't matter what kind of catfish. But I like it deep fried. I like it pan fried. I like it foil packed. You put the fish and whatever kind of seasonings you want in there in foil, wrap it up, throw it in the coals or on a grill, and then basically like a hobo dinner, a fish hobo dinner. It's good that way. But yeah, I got skunked last month, but At least I tried. I hope you do get to go. You know, I would love to go out more, but because I don't drive, I have to have someone take me. Yep, I do enjoy camping, and being able to camp at Jester Park, you know, for that multicultural powwow that I volunteered with doing the kids' crafts, that was pretty awesome. You know, there were probably 7 other tents in the area that was reserved for people to set up their tents. So there were 7 others. You know, a couple of families had also put up tents there. And of course, I was packing my tent up, and I zipped the screen, and the zipper pull came off right in my hand. So if I were to try to set that tent up again, I would not be able to open the screen unless I literally cut it. Plus, that tent does not have good airflow ventilation at all. It got so wet just from the humidity. And I had a tarp over it in case it rained. It did rain a little bit. I think Saturday night, not very much, but it did rain just a little bit. But yeah, I pretty much tried. I didn't have it down like this over the tent. I actually took my trekking poles so I could have the front end of the tarp pretty much as high as I could extend those poles. And I put guy lines to keep them in place and stake them. And then the back end of the tarp I had tied to some fallen branches that were behind my tent. I deliberately placed my tent there so I could tie the back end of the tarp to those fallen branches that were piled up there. But I guess I will be replacing that tent. It was a cheap one that I bought off the site called Wish. I don't think I'm going to buy anything off of that site anymore. I am going to eventually upgrade to a better tent. I do have one other tent, but it's a 5-person and it takes 2 people to set up because it's taller than me. I took it once on a trip and I had to have someone help me set it up. But the good thing about that one is I can stand up in it, and it's a lot easier for me to change my clothes than in a small tent where I can't stand up in it. But I'm hoping to do one trip in November. So I think next month I'm going to go ahead and buy a new tent so I can have it before that trip, because I don't know where I'll be going, if I'll be able to use my hammock. Now, depending on what that location is, I might use my hammock. I don't know. I'll have to figure out what kind of area that's going to be. Well, Wyoming is not the only place that's seen a lot of migration. Gil from Camp Patton Family Compound and Grayman, Gray, Grayman Prepping. He originally moved from California. He has some relatives who have come with him to Idaho. His wife is still in California. She is staying there until I think she's ready to retire, and then she will join Gil in Idaho. So it's not like they're having marriage problems. It's an arrangement that they have made in order to get themselves, in a financial place that they want to be. And of course, when she's ready to move, she will sell the California house and join Gil in Idaho. But he goes back and forth to California very frequently. And he will shoot videos of her garden that she has out there. So those are some pretty cool videos to see of his wife's garden. Yeah, that is a big problem. We have that here in Iowa too. I can just see in the park, when I'm coming home by bus, I get out on the opposite side of the park that my apartment is, and I see trash. And what's worse is I will see, people who are wearing those disposable masks when they get out of a building or out of a bus. They just throw it on the ground. They don't keep it until they can get to a trash can. Or even if there's a trash can right there, they still throw it on the ground. So I stick to wearing my reusable ones, as we still have to wear a mask when you ride any kind of public transportation, like a bus, a train, or a plane, or subway, if you're in a city that has a subway. And businesses are still requiring masks when you go in. And of course, the other reason why I wear a mask is we're still getting the wildfire smoke from the western states. Even today, the sky looked a little odd because of that wildfire smoke that's coming over. I don't know why people do that. Probably the same reason why they don't even wear their mask properly. They don't put it over their nose. Sorry, shameless plug for Foreign MRE. That's where I got the mug. That's where I got the spork that I use all the time. A titanium spork, so it's very light. Yep, not only orange at sunrise, but at sunset. Or if it's really bad, it can be close to red. It has been red here a number of times. Or if you see the moon come up, and the sky hasn't gotten really dark yet, the moon will look red or peach colored instead of what it's supposed to look like. I just put my scissors back in the drawer where I keep them. Yeah. I have a nightstand that matches this desk that's to my left, and I use it for storage out here. And when I got this desk and that stand when I lived at a place I moved here from, and I used it for the same purpose. I had I put my computer tower on it, my desktop computer, which I desperately need to either get fixed or replace it because it won't fully boot up, so it's basically a glorified power bank. So I charge stuff off of it. That's pretty much all I do. And this laptop that's to my left, I do the same thing. It won't fully boot up either, so I keep charging cables plugged into it all the time, and I will charge stuff off of it. I run my tablet, my Kindle Fire, off of this laptop that's to my left. In fact, it's plugged in right now. It's charging up, so when I get done with the stream, I'll just fire it back up, and maybe watch another video or three before I go to bed, because it's almost 11:30 here. And I use a wireless keyboard that was given to me along with the Kindle. And when I get my browser going, I have it like, I'd say, a desktop site. You know, instead of the mobile version of a website. Oh yes, you should have several power banks. That way you have backup. And speaking of power, when I went to the park for the powwow, I took this little goodie. This is the Tack Life mini power station. This is not one that was sent to me for review. I chose it. This is a small version. It's got 2 AC outlets. And then back here, this is the input. These are the standard USB, and then I have 3 other outputs over here for devices that use that type of plug. And with this input, I charge it off the wall, or I could connect a solar panel. I have a Rockpal folding solar panel that I could hook up to this and charge it if I needed to, but when I went camping with this and charged up the phones that I had with me, this only took it down to 2 bars. And not even, actually between 2 and 3. Because I took one of my O lanterns for my tent light. And then I'll just get that out of the way. I had an Olight headlamp. I did not charge that because I had charged them before I went. And then I had another, just a small flashlight. You know, something like this. Plus I have a, oops, sorry about that. Keep bumping the dang thing. Plus I have a flashlight on my keys that's a little smaller than that. So I was very good on light. So I was supplying light for a few others on Sunday when they were taking stuff down after the powwow had ended. So I was providing some light for a few others after they had taken some other lights down. Well, since some others are leaving, I'm probably going to go ahead and call it good since it is almost 11:30 here. So I want to thank you all for showing up. And I'm glad that you all found me when you did. And again, thanks to Sunshine Side of Life for sending me that Megabite box of goodness. So next Sunday, hopefully back at my regular time of 8 Eastern, 7 Central. I will decide sometime this week whether I'm going to pull out that other main that I can't translate, or if I will dig into that Titan that I received from Minotaur Trading Company, the new Titan menu. And I will make 3 meals out of that, so you know, that's a 24-hour ration. The first Titans that they did had the Mountain House mains, but this one has the Minotaur produced mains, so I'm definitely looking forward to digging into that. So I will decide before next weekend what I will do. So again, thanks for coming out and hanging with me on this late night. And hopefully you all will get a couple hours of sleep before you have to face Monday. And thanks for sticking with Smokey on his stream today. So, see you next week and catch you on the flip side.